Hey there guys, Sandro here, and today we've got another Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker main character breakdown. Today we're going to be looking at Sasuke Uchiha, the scion of the Uchiha clan and the original edgelord. Like usual, first we're going to go over his basic Taijutsu combos, and then we're going to take a look at his quirks as a character. Finally, after that, we're going to take a look at some live gameplay footage where his jutsu and general gameplay can be examined. Starting off with his physical combos, Sasuke is definitely a top tier fighter. Mainly because of the fact that his sword actually has really decent range on it, and the fact that with his kunai, he can basically keep an enemy at bay. One cool thing to note is that Sasuke actually has access to 4 kunai, whereas the created character range type only has 3. Also, the heavy attack for both of these characters is slightly different, with the created character sort of throwing both of his kunai at once, whereas Sasuke actually sort of does a type of arpeggio of a throw, one right after the other. This basically enables Sasuke to chase after enemies a little bit more efficiently than the created character. And the final thing about Sasuke's moveset is that his aerial light attack is actually really good at scooping enemies up. It's basically just an upward sword slash mid-air, but the hitbox is ridiculous. Anyway, now we're going to be moving on to Sasuke's jutsu. And if you've seen my attack type breakdown, you'll probably be familiar with this, but Sasuke actually has a jutsu similar to Kakashi's Raikiri. And at the start of a match, it basically enables you to get ahead of your team very quickly because of that horizontal movement. Now as a range type in Sasuke, this might not be the most useful compared to Kakashi, who actually has the Sharingan to help him go ahead of his team. And as a range type, you sort of want to let your team go forward, which is what I'm doing here. And as a result, I'm able to snipe the enemies basically as they're not looking at me. And usually I don't complain about hitboxes, but right here I just want to make it known that Soleil actually nerfed the Chidori hitbox. Now I'm not sure why, but sometimes you will definitely just not hit your enemy, so that's kind of a negative thing for Sasuke. A cool little thing here, a 4-man team combo just absolutely melted this guy. So nothing to do specifically with Sasuke, but I thought it was cool nonetheless. So in this clip here, you can see me throwing a lot of shuriken, and an additional benefit to obviously throwing the shuriken is the fact that you do a short hop when you throw them. Now this is useful for stalling in mid-air, which is something that Sasuke is actually really good at. Up ahead here, this enemy uses his super armor to absorb the Raikiri, which is definitely something that you want to look out for as a Sasuke player. Up here we've got Kirin being used on top of my ally's water prison jutsu, and that is definitely one of the better ways to use the jutsu, since of course the enemy can't dodge it. Up ahead here we've got a clip where the Chidori's tracking is shown off. Now I did mention that it was a little bit nerfed earlier, but at least it still tracks after the enemy substitutes. Not all jutsu do that. So the next couple of minutes here are basically dedicated to Sasuke being very good near the edge of the stage. So if you're familiar with Smash Bros, you might be familiar with the whole Fox and Falco type thing. And to me, basically Sasuke fulfills the role of Falco in this game pretty dang well. And that basically means he is really good at taking out the enemy when they're not sort of expecting it. As you can see here, when you're really low to the ground, you're about to fall off the ledge, Sasuke's jutsu definitely come in handy because they have a large area of effect, they deal knockback with the fireball, and most importantly they come out quickly, which prevents you from getting gimped yourself. And in case you guys don't know what that term means, basically being gimped means to be knocked off the stage without being given a fair fight. Sasuke is extremely good at doing this, so if you are a tactical player, you can definitely make the most of his jutsu. Specifically, the fireballs will cause a hard knockdown if you actually launch the enemy into a wall. They can also be used to follow up other jutsu and cause hard knockdown, and this is especially useful when you're in a map that has a lot of pits, like this one right here, the sand training ground. And just in general, you know, this clip is dedicated to Sasuke having good mobility and a lot of good options with both his shuriken as well as his long-range jutsu. Yeah, for example here you can see that the tracking on his shuriken, especially the heavy attack, is really good for interrupting enemies. And because he's a range type, he has access to shuriken all the time. Again, another example of a hard knockdown off of a wall with his fireball jutsu. It's a very good tactic to keep in mind. And even if you aren't sure of killing the enemy, this is a great example, like I mentioned before, of Sasuke being good at gimping people. Basically, one single kunai can sometimes be the difference in knocking your opponent into a pit and getting yourself a free KO. Anyway, that's basically all I've got for today, guys. I hope you've learned a little bit of how to use Sasuke and are hyped for the final release as I am. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.